I'm saying this in 2025 because, well, I don't want to think about 2025. And let's get this straight. I love feminist action media. Okay. I love Steven Universe. I love Legend of Korra. I love every magical girl show anime has to offer. Love love the more mature anime protagonists, like from Corral Phantom Memory. I know not a lot of people like that. Or Moribito. That's a really nice one. Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex, even though I think the outfits are a bit too vivacious. And uh, really love live action feminist icons like, you know, Furiosa from Fury Road. Still haven't seen the sequel. Prequel? Prequel. Uh, love me pretty much all of Sigourney Weaver's career and half of Angelina Jolie's career and whatever, Kate Beckinsale, Jessica Alba, Jennifer Gardner. We've had plenty of action women in the straight spotlight, and the ones that were, leads in their own comics is through the roof. Uh, I did like the first two Wonder Woman movies. The first one was nice in a kind of action Little Mermaid kind of way. It's like, it's my first time off the island. Oh no, man's world is so complicated and dark. Is it's irredeemable. Ugh. And, the romance with Steve Trevor, I think the romantic interest name is, the Chris Pine character. Wonder Woman 1984 was dumb as a bag of rocks, but I kind of like it as dumb as a bag of rocks it is, because, it was still her wanting to see Steve again. It was the, the iffy magic and a villain who is his own monkey's paw. That's fun, you know. Uh, Still dumb as a bag of rocks. And I even liked the WandaVision. I liked Miss Marvel mostly. I wish Miss Marvel as a Disney Plus show had committed to the Jinn bit. And I don't like that they changed her powers from stretching to like Diet Green Lantern. I really wish they kept with the stretching and kept her an Inhuman rather than making her an energy manipulator and then making her a mutant. Even though we went through all the trouble of having her be an alternate dimension part Kree object, quantum band thing. Just so weird. Um, I like She-Hulk. I like I like almost all the Marvel women, honestly, almost all of them. And I say all that to say this: Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel in the MCU, is still crappy. Yeah, I just wasted 3.5 minutes to get to that because once you say MCU Captain Marvel is crappy, you're pegged as some sort of Snyderverse, yeah, Meninist, Trump supporting weird testosterone goblin. I'm like, no, no, I'm a SJW soy boy woke feminist. I really like women in fiction kicking ass. I like it. I like every time they don't fall in love. I mean, sure, love stories are nice, but I like it when a woman doesn't have a love story or has a love story that goes against the heterosexual hegemony. Hegemony? Hegemony? Realized I never said that word out loud before. I really hope for more feminist cinema in the future, but especially in accessible action genre fiction cinema, because for any story you want, there's an indie art house film for everything. But when it gets to like escapist fantasy mainstream genre stuff, that's when it gets to the general public. I think everybody deserves a hero. I think there should be a hero for every kind of ideology and personality. But MCU Captain Marvel, man. I have nothing against the actress. I don't feel anything against the actress, and I don't feel her being overpowered is a problem because I was perfectly fine with Rey in Star Wars. I mean, I'm also a big fan of get this the the Last Jedi. The Last Jedi is my favorite of the Star Wars sequel trilogy, and I that's made me some enemies online. I like that movie because Ray finding out she's a no but buddy is interesting. I like that we finally get to see Leia Organa use force powers to. How do I get rid of that function? Uh, I like when Rose, the introduced character, has this big Lisa Simpson moment preaching about the corruption in the galaxy and the both sidesing of galactic warfare. I actually like that. I don't think she's in the right, but it is fascinating to have such a righteous perspective that goes against the grain of good versus evil. And the character who I like to call Space Aunt, that lady in the lavender dress who turns out to be the lady from Jurassic Park. Really? Oh, she's looking great for her age. Though the military outfit is a lavender bridesmaid's dress, that could have been better. But she made a very cool final sacrifice. Oh yeah, that was cool. That made up for her obtuseness the whole time of just not telling Poe what the plan was. Like she really should have done that. It was some forced Damon Lindelof not communicating drama or something. It's like I know Damon Lindelof didn't work on that film, but that's the kind of vibe I get where characters are not talking to each other because not talking to each other motivates the plot. Back to Captain Marvel. Now, ages ago, I watched this video by Bob Chipman. And Bob Chipman is a very smart man. He still is to this day. Still is to this day. I think he gets lost in being smart sometimes. Like, he argues with a million people online, and sometimes it becomes more important for him to argue with assholes than to tell the facts. But back in the day when nobody in the mainstream knew who Captain Marvel was or who the original Miss Marvel, Carol Danvers, was, he summarized her whole history in the comics. And it was this fascinating thing that, because it was then at the recent time of her becoming Captain Marvel in the comics, going from Miss Marvel to Binary to Warbird, and then finally to to Miss Marvel again, and then becoming Captain Marvel. The journey of Carol Danvers can be summarized as such: she was the Lois Lane to a Superman, but that Superman died, and she had to take up the mantle and the mission of that Superman, which is fascinating. I mean, how often do you see a dead true love as the origin story for a hero? How often do you see that? I mean, they made that the origin for Woman when Steve Trevor died in her movie, but, wasn't always there, and it wasn't her exact origin. She didn't get her powers from Steve Trevor dying. But or from trying to live up to his legacy. That she was still a magical MacGuffin woman in that case. Or maybe you're thinking of something like Gwen Stacy in most Spider-Man mythos. It's like, here's the moment Gwen Stacy dies, and we get the great power, great responsibility moment for Peter Parker again. It's like, okay, that motivates the hero. It's a woman in refrigerator thing, but it's still a tragic part of his heroic journey that his heroism and fantastic journeys come with a dark price. Okay, but having that in how I understood Carol Danvers made me so hype for the MCU one because I kept on picturing this. I kept on picturing, you know, this Air Force pilot, she's befriending another officer, he's acting weird, I should investigate him. Her being curious about him leads to this kind of spy versus spy discovery of each other and a little bit of a romance, maybe something like that. It could be a butch romance where she's more manly than him and he is, I don't know, a elegant submissive of some sort. I don't know. I don't know. Heck, it could work if it was two ladies. I'm fine with that too. I just wanted her to fall in love with somebody. Her love flipping the switch on him. Oh, I wasn't a secret invader from outer space, but now I want to protect mankind because I love you and your planet now. And then he dies in the middle of Act 2, is what I'd be hoping. And then she, in her grief, either through like an exploding particle accelerator or putting on the quantum bands herself or something, takes on the powers and now has to fight his former friends, comrades, and family from the Kree Empire, saying, I'm doing what he wanted because he wanted to protect me, and all that the Kree Empire would have to do is say, she seduced and killed him for his powers. Let's go get this bitch. It's like, yeah, that's some epic, frickin' tragic Romeo and Juliet shit. Like, guy dead, never going to get him back, or girlfriend dead if you want a gender flip. But Marvel, as a romantic partner, man or woman, dead in Carol's arms as soon as they fall in love. She has the power, she has the responsibilities, and she's fighting his whole fascist space dictatorship and likely his own adult children. I can picture Genus Vell and the rest of Marvel's illegitimate or illegitimate kids coming in from space going, you killed my father, I will destroy you. You killed my father, I will destroy you. You seduced and killed my father, I will destroy you, space sword. It's like, that'd be cool. And because every time she'd be fighting one of these Kree, she'd be reminded of not only his death, but, how are you going to beat up the son of your true love? It's like, I loved your father. I don't want to kick your ass. That's cool. That would be amazing. That would be mind-blowing. And what we got instead was the most watered down thing. And watered down ain't bad. Mediocre is not a crime. Mediocre is not a crime. It's mediocre that was complicated with an amnesia story. That brought it down a notch. The amnesia story was unnecessary because it's like she isn't learning about her own personality or regaining her memories slowly a bit at a time. She's just like, I'm loyal to the Kree. Boop. Now I'm a badass. She's one character and then flips the switch to a completely different character at the end of the film, so it doesn't feel like growth at all. That's point one against it, this anti-arc created by the amnesia. Then there is the wasted potential of the Skrulls. Like they tried to reverse that in Secret Invasion by making the Skrulls evil again, which is too late. Either you commit to the Skrulls being good in the MCU, or you commit to them being bad in the first place. You can't reverse this to make the same mistake you did with the Flag Smashers in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, where refugees equal terrorists. Why are you doing this? Why are you bad-mouthing refugees like this? Refugee crises were going on all the time while these movies were being made. It's like, I'm pretty sure Trump got voted in because people were afraid of Syrian refugees, and the whole border crisis at the southern border is refugees, and now you're making refugees into the bad guys? What the fuck's wrong with you? But anyway, uh, back to Marvel. The Kree themselves, instead of this imposing space army with an army of robots and demigods behind them going, yeah, we're going to kick your ass. We can make 5 Captain Marvels a minute. So it'd have to be, Carol Danvers' sheer grit and tenacity to punch them up. It's like, no, she got the Mario star power. So instead of Goku versus Frieza, you got Goku versus Emperor Pilaf. And not Kid Goku either, like Super Saiyan 3 Goku versus Emperor Pilaf. It's like, overpowered is not the problem. Scaled threat is the problem. And the Kree should have been a full plate for her. It should have been that, but, the Kree in Marvel, I haven't seen Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but the Kree in Marvel really, 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 really need to be a threat. They really need to be a space threat. Have them be the villainous, cartoonish evil you could not do with the Empire in Star Wars. Which, that's another thing. Really didn't like The Rise of Skywalker when Palpatine did that Kamehameha of lightning. It's like, that shit should be in the Marvel movies. The ultra super powered magical attack, 999 maximum damage. Save that shit for Marvel. Star Wars, that's space opera. Do space opera. Superheroes in the superheroes, space opera in the space opera. But another point against the Captain Marvel movie, apart from it being dull and confusing and an anti-character arc, and a waste of Kree, a waste of Skrulls, the cat. I know the cat's cute. I know you all like the cat. But I know for every second that cat's on screen, we could have had 3 giant robots. Because photorealistic, everyday animals, humans, dogs, cats, when you fully recreate that in CGI, that's some expensive shit. That's why the Halle Berry Catwoman movie looks like crap. Because they wasted money on CGI cats. How do you not see the money on fire and the lack of all the effects we needed in that? Frickin' could have copy-pasted one robot to show that she was strong enough to take on an Age of Ultron by herself and sell her as the, Hulk Thor level powerhouse that she is by giving her a proportionate adversary for physical conflict. You don't make a super strong punching person without giving them something super strong to punch. It's just against the laws of fiction. And then the final thing that really made me turn Captain Marvel from mediocre in the MCU as a film to just plain insulting. Nick Fury. Nick Fury was the badass cloak and dagger guy. You want to know how good Samuel L. Jackson's Nick Fury is? I haven't heard one peep in all these years of anybody saying, oh, they got rid of Nick Fury's original character. He's supposed to be a white guy. I've never run into a guy. I'm sure they're out there, but they were never in such volumetric, obnoxious force to say they should make Nick Fury white again. It's like, no, they're in the minority. People loved Samuel L. Jackson's Nick Fury, and he lived up to it. He was, the guy who, if you put him and Iron Man in the same room, Iron Man looks like the weakling. If you put him and Thor in the same room, Thor looks like the mortal. He was the guy who outsmarted, outlied, and outthreatened everybody in the room. He's like a reverse Professor Xavier. Instead of feeling like everybody's dad, he feels like everybody's stepdad. Scary ass motherfucker. And that was great. That was great in Winter Soldier. That was great in Civil War. Heck, it was even great when he seemed to retire from managing S.H.I.E.L.D. in the Avengers, where he's like, yeah, I've seen it all, and I've seen worse things than you can ever imagine. You puny little Hulk. That's cool! That's cool. And then they waste the CGI to make a young Samuel Jackson and make him a Chris Tucker style comedy relief and make him a dope where, Carol Danvers is just like, look, I could just open the door by pushing it. It's like, no. You should have been still a Cloak and Dagger badass, and you should have just hired a young man that looks like him. You should have. I'm sure some young aspiring actor with a really scrunchy little face and a little nose and, an angry bald head could have done the job. Could have done the job. Just, if you could make War Machine into Don Cheadle, you could cast a young, aspiring African-American actor, or African actor, or Jamaican actor, or Haitian actor, or Brazilian actor, or British actor, because there's black people all over the damn world. You can hire anybody from any part of the world to play young Samuel L. Jackson and save a ton of money on the CGI. But no, all the money that should have gone to seeing Carol Danvers fight stuff at her level was wasted on CGI wrinkle cream and a CGI cat in a plot about her forgetting that she was a badass, remembering she was a badass, admittedly having a pretty nice sucker punch to the villain at the end, but that's why you needed robots to fight before that to give us that satisfying ha-ha, but instead she's popping balloons of spaceships we barely took seriously in Guardians of the Galaxy in the first place. It's like, I guess that'd be more satisfying if she was like popping Star Destroyers, but not those space Toblerones the Kree use in the movies. And I've been complaining about this for years, because I wanted that broken-hearted Romeo and Juliet version of Captain Marvel. And it could have been guy and guy, girl and girl, LGBT, whatever you want. But instead, they turned Marvel into a maternal, I guess, figure, a symbolic mother to Carol Danvers without any of the scenes needed to show that connection. Just like, here's a random older lady that gave you your origin story. Oh, I miss her. I miss her so much. Do you have any flashback scenes with her? Not really. We have flashback scenes with several different blonde girls getting back up in a montage near the end, which is a cool scene, but a band-aid on a bullet wound. And the rest of the movie, as well executed as some of the things are, it's just all the wrong decisions to make the most inoffensive feminist icon I think I've seen. Like, she loves no one, she stands for no one, she fights no one, it doesn't feel like she loses a fight, and all her major victories are just like, it was nothing. Getting out of mind control, just standing up, it was nothing. Beating her arch nemesis, it was nothing. Popping those spaceships, it was nothing. Her arch enemy gets away in a Jetsons car just so we can see him drive the spaceship. It's like, why did you put him in a Jetsons car? Like, this isn't a plot hole or anything, but a story needs momentum and energy to get over these nitpicks. This movie hits every speed bump because it slows down enough to aim at every speed bump. I guess pothole is what I should have said instead of speed bump, but that's what this film is. It's okay at best, and at most it gets by on the first Marvel lady-led movie when I've already seen lady-led everything else. I've seen lady-led comics. I've seen lady-led movies. I've seen lady-led cartoons. This is no Steven Universe. This is no Legend of Korra. This is no My Life as a Teenage Robot. This is no Powerpuff Girls. And all these things are in the mainstream. All these things are immensely mainstream. But because it's the first Marvel movie after you fire Ike Perlmutter for being an Ike Pearl bastard, at least I hope that's why he was fired, it's like, oh my goodness, Marvel invented the wheel. No, it didn't. We've had the wheel for forever. Why are you acting like you invented the wheel? Because it's the first time Marvel movies did it. Is Marvel your baby? It's like, oh my goodness, Junior had his first steps. So what? We're all walking. Hey. And I work myself over this right now because it's February 2025. Guess what I'm trying to avoid talking about? Ugh.